yeah. Welcome in on a Friday night. It is on and popping. It is just me and the gruesome twosome in here, man. Our boy BC's got some business going that he's taking care of. He'll be back very soon. We miss you, my man. But for right now, you just got us, the gruesome twosome, my man. How you feeling tonight, brother?
Feeling good, baby. It's Friday, freaking Friday. BC, we miss you, doggy, but we know you got to take care of your stuff, bro. But don't worry. You part of the show always, brother.
We'll hold it down. All right, guys. Well, if you don't know, now you know. It's Views from the Stands. I'm your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan. And, of course, now we got our guy with us, G-Mike, in the building. Man, we have a fun-filled show for you tonight, man. We're going to have that insane NBA trade deadline. Going to do some recaps of the major moves over that one. There's a little game coming up. I don't know if you heard of it. The Super Bowl. That's coming up. We're going to go ahead and finally give our predictions and recaps on that. The NFL awards just got done last night. We'll go ahead and talk about that one a little bit as well. And if you don't know, man, there's a major rematch coming up tomorrow night. UFC 312, Duplessis and Strickland. Oh, man, if you didn't see the first one, that was a bloodbath. It was a banger of a fight. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that one as well. Great co-main event. Before we get to that, though, we do have to pay some bills. Mr. G-Mike, why don't you let the people know how you're doing and how they can get a hold of you?
Yes, sir. Guys, I run a sports gambling Telegram channel where we offer slips on a daily basis to get you winnings from anywhere to $50 to $100 to $150 a day. It's only $10 a month. And now we have a special offer that's going on with our affiliate program. Any person that you refer to bring into the channel, you can make 50% off the commission of getting them in the channel, keeping them in the channel for each and every month, and you'll get residual income. So if you guys are about that and want to join, I'll put the link up on the chat right there. You'll see it pop up on your screen. Or if you're watching the recorded episode, you'll see it displayed on your screen, or just hit me up on one of my socials and we'll get you up and popping.
Oh, man, that's going to be a blast, man. I can't wait for that. So that's an awesome new project. Well, we just also started another venture with us as well, and we're with now the Varsity Sports Nation. Great company out there. If you're interested in doing any kind of live sports, they're covering local. They're covering high school. It's a great program, great place. They also have an iOS app. They're on Apple TV. They're on Roku TV. They're on YouTube TV. They're on everywhere, man. We really appreciate it. They're doing everything big over there. Great people. We're really excited that they let us join up with them, as well as we're also working with Millions as well. That's another sports app as well. So you had a lot of places to find us out there besides the YouTube channel and all our socials as well. So please, to keep this going for us, please like, please subscribe. We really appreciate everything you're doing for us.
Por favor.
There was a hell of a big trade deadline, man. Here's just a sample right here, a little link right here. This isn't like your high school picture, man. This is literally what it looked like from all the players that made moves and teams that made moves on that trade deadline on Thursday, man. Whew, there was a lot, and if you haven't known, there was one major one that affected me pretty dear to my heart here. My Dallas Mavericks made a move here that shocked not only the NBA world, but the entire sports world. So, if you haven't heard yet, and this will be the 900th time this has been talked about, my man. All right, so we are going to go ahead and break this one down first. So, if you haven't heard, like I said, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Hurricane. Wow, way a little bit off. The Los Angeles Lakers.
He's excited, folks. He's excited.
Yeah, not really, but all right. So the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks made a 3-team trade here. All right, so Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris go to the Los Angeles Lakers. You heard that right. Luka Doncic is now a Los Angeles Laker. In return, the Mavs will receive Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. There's always got to be an extra team in these major deals. The Utah Jazz will get Jalen Hood, a 2025 second-round pick, a 2025 second-round pick as well from the Clippers. Man, what a trade this was. This rocked the world. G-Mike, man, you know I had a lot of feelings about this one. I'm going to go ahead and let you go first.
No, you go first. You go first because we all want to hear. It's your team. We want to hear how you feel about this because there's a lot of angry Dallas Mavericks fans. So I want to know if you're angry or if you're excited about this.
All right, well, we'll keep it. We'll start off here. If you look down here at the hashtag I got going on here, if you're a true Mavs fan, you get it. It's MFFL. That's a Mavs fan for life, my man. And so I've been a Dallas Mavericks fan for almost 20 years, 25 years, somewhere in that area in there. Back when Sean Bradley was playing, I've been a Dallas Mavericks fan for a long time. I've lost Nash. That hurt a lot. That one was pretty equal to this one. but we never really get a generational talent like Luka Doncic. So I'll start with saying that, yes, I'm absolutely crushed that we lost Luka Doncic. Luka was my guy. It was easy to go from Dirk to their next favorite player. I talked about Luka all the time. I got text messages as if I was Nico Harrison making the trade myself. People were checking in on me. I woke up in the morning like frantic, freaking out because it happened at like 2 in the morning East Coast time, literally losing my mind in this. And so, yes, this really crushes a lot of Mavs fans. This really crushes myself personally because I love Luka. Having said that, though, I do think that Dallas is going to make it out of this trade all right. Now, having said that as well, I think that Dallas should have got a hell of a lot more back for the trade. You don't just get Anthony Davis, who only has about 3 to 4 maybe years left because of how injury prone he is, 1 first-round pick and Max Christie. Max Christie's a nice player, but he's nothing that you're going to replace with a Luka Doncic. Considering you go back to the Miles Bridges trades, all these different trades that got 4 and 5 round draft picks, and we got 1 first-round draft pick in 4 years and only talked to 1 team. That's where the problem comes in for myself, is that there wasn't an option for any other team to make a better offer and get more in return. Now, for Dallas, their side, I kind of get what happened here because Dallas has had Luka Doncic for almost 6 to 7 years now. Luka Doncic was coming up on that humongous $345 to $350 million contract, which is about $70 million a year. I don't know if they were actually going to be able to afford to pay him that. And if he does not stay healthy or lose weight or lose the conditioning, then what's the point of paying this guy that amount of money? Thank you guys for checking in. I love you guys. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Patty, for checking in. Having said all that, so we got that. And Luka has been slightly immature when it comes to actually big games, man. We had them in the finals. I want to say it was game 4. Dallas still had a chance to win it. Luka's too busy trotting up the field and trotting up the court and yelling at the referees about calls that he think he should have got. That NBA Finals, I think, was with the last straw for the Dallas Mavericks. Yes, he took them single-handedly on his back and brought them to the NBA Finals. But in that same time, he also showed the lack of maturity and the lack of conditioning in there. He was out by the 3rd or 4th quarter, if not already in foul trouble. He has 0 defense. Anthony Davis comes in. Anthony Davis can give you points and give you rebounds, give you everything that Luka can do without all the finesse and without, Luka has better offense.
Shaw as well.
But Dallas is going to turn around and be a defensive team. If Dallas, it reminds me of a little bit what Orlando was doing. Orlando's kind of had a little bit of a fall off the last few months or so, just a lot of injuries. But it reminds me of what Orlando is doing is the fact of you have to score on them, and who are you going to score on in this team? Even Kyrie, for everything that Kyrie has, Kyrie can play pretty decent defense for a point guard as well at his age. So you got Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Luka Longley. Wow, show my age on that one. No, Derek Lively. So I think Dallas is going to be okay. Now the problem's going to be in a couple of years from now that they're going to need to figure out where to get scoring from and to how to replace this, because Anthony Davis isn't a spring chicken anymore. Like I was saying, he has maybe 3 to 4 years left in him. But as a basketball standpoint, I think Dallas is going to be perfectly fine and might make a actual deep run in the playoffs because of the trade here. Luka hasn't really played this year, and it's got them in a little bit of a hole. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. But Anthony Davis is supposed to make his debut for the Mavs on Saturday, I believe, against the Rockets. So I will pass it off to you, my man. I want to say I think that Dallas is going to be okay. I'm still repping my boys. Let's go, Mavs.
You guys are going to be okay. It sucks that you guys gave up Luka, because that's a generational talent, and that's a talent that you want for years and years to come, right? So for the long run, it is going to look bad for you guys, but you guys are in win now mode. You just left the NBA Finals. You played a top-tier team in the Boston Celtics where you guys barely had scoring. You had Kyrie, you had Luka. That's it. No one else was scoring the ball. Boston Celtics had Jason Tatum, KP, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, until game 3. Until
Eric
game 3.
White.
Game 3,
I'm saying? Like, they had at least 7 dudes that have arsenals out there that can put at least 10 or more points inside the rim. And the Dallas Mavericks did not have it, right? And you're in win now mode. So you need more defense. You bring in Anthony Davis, you ship out Luka. These guys are thinking about, okay, Anthony Davis can give us 25 points a game. He can give us 12 rebounds a game. And he could probably give us 2 blocks a game while still playing some very pressured defense in the interior and a little bit outside in the perimeter
Yeah.
He can shift very well. He's not Bam Adebayo, but he can shift very well, and he's more lengthy. And I feel like he's a little smarter than most centers in the league when it comes to defense. So that's why you bring him in, right? And Max Christie as well. He's been showing that in the Lakers, he can go out there and shoot at least 5 3-pointers and make 2, 3 of them. He could give you a good like 8 to 15 points per game, depending on how good his night has been. So it's another scorer for you guys as well. And then you guys bring in Caleb Martin from the Philadelphia Sixers, which is it's not a part of this trade, but you made another trade to bring in another.
Right, we got rid of Quentin Grimes. I liked Quentin Grimes, but I could deal with Caleb Martin, but I liked Quentin Grimes.
It just adds more defense with Caleb Martin, which is what the Dallas Mavericks are looking for. They need defense to pair up with these guys that can score at will, Kyle Irving, Anthony Davis. And you saw it throughout the playoffs. They did work because of the offensive end, but there was no defensive end being played. You still have PJ Washington that he can play defense with the best of them as well. Yeah. And he's a good 3-point shooter too. And in the extent of Luka not playing, what was it? Like he wasn't playing for a month and a half?
Yeah, since Christmas.
Yeah, okay. So like a month and a half, he hasn't been playing. PJ Washington really stepped up to the plate. And he was putting in work on the offensive end and the defensive end. So I see why the Mavericks did the trade, but I'm with you. I'm in a disagreement. I wouldn't trade away a generational talent like that.
I wouldn't have,
and especially that he wanted to be there, that he didn't ask for a trade. He wanted to be with the Dallas Mavericks for the rest of the
and the other problem with how Dallas did this is that it kind of almost they kind of did this dirty in a way. They kind of did it behind the scenes. They did it, behind in the dark, if you will.
They knew.
They legitimately didn't even tell anybody what was going on here. And so I feel like that, especially the NBA. The NBA is so player driven that's going to send ripples and a message through the rest of the league. There's already videos of like KD on the sideline. Everybody's like, Luka got traded. What? Like, you just don't see that ever happening in here. There's so many interesting videos of when they reacted. Actual NBA players like, what the hell just happened? There's no way that actually just happened right now. So I think that's going to be a problem. And if this trade doesn't work out, Nico's going to look really, really bad for Dallas.
He knows that too. He said it. He knows it. He said it's either going to work out or it's not. I guess we'll see in the upcoming years.
I mean, it's definitely not Mark Cuban's team anymore. He may quote unquote be running the team, but he's definitely not involved in stuff. I mean, hell, you go back to that quote that Mark Cuban's had that saying if it was a decision between trading Luka and getting a divorce, he said, I guess I'll go ahead and sign the divorce papers now. So Mark Cuban was not going to get rid of him. Mark Cuban was also very loyal.
Wild thing to say, but whatever.
Mark Cuban was also very loyal to his team and very loyal to his players. But
not his wife.
Man, I guess not, right? I guess not. But I mean, it's still just hard, a tough pill to swallow whenever and the other wild thing about this whole thing with Luka is that they drafted him with the 6th pick. Teams passed on him, and he felt just like right. Yeah. He fell back a little bit, but still, it felt like that was our guys, either Trae Young or Luka, and they're always going to be connected. And Luka was the right pick to pick Luka. I mean, Luka's just, I think, a better player than Trae Young is. But it just felt like, all right, this is our guy. We made the trade. They went for it. I can't believe we got him. It's a tough pill to swallow that Luka Doncic is not with the Mavs anymore. But it will be very interesting to see what the Lakers look like now. I think that's going to be some must-see television right there to see how this is going to work out with LeBron and Luka. LeBron has been secretly trying to get Luka he wanted to play with Luka for a long time. He's already made it very clear that Luka is pretty one of his favorite players in the league. He was asked, who's your favorite player to watch in the league? And he's like, Luka Doncic. Like, not even a question asked about it. And the wild thing about this trade as well, and we were talking about compensation a little bit ago, is that the lack coming back to Dallas, Dalton Knecht just got traded as well from the Lakers. That was their scoring rookie. Like, why couldn't he be a part of this deal, at least for Luka? Like, I just don't get why they settled for what they settled for in this, and only getting 1 first-round draft pick. Not even 1 first-round pick in 3 seconds, something along those lines. But
it was the addition of AD and Max Christie. What it really
all I can think of is that Dallas, the front office, knew something that we don't. I don't know if Luka has issues outside. Whatever, I can't speculate any of that. I think that they knew something that we didn't, and maybe that's why they pulled the trigger on this trade without telling anybody. But I still probably would not have done it. I would have maybe made it work. He's had a decent supporting cast. Kyrie is definitely the best player around him, but he hasn't his entire career. He hasn't had much. Yeah, Jalen Brunson. Don't get me wrong, but Jalen Brunson was.
VP.
He wasn't turning into Jalen Brunson until he was able to leave. You saw whenever he went that final, that playoff run when Luka got hurt. Ironically, Luka got hurt again. But Jalen Brunson was leading the team. And then that next year is whenever Jalen Brunson went to New York, and it's Jalen Brunson we know now. So it does suck. It does suck thinking. I saw a great picture the other day. It was Porzingis, Jalen Brunson, and Luka, and they were all at Mavs at one point in time together. And barely got the chance to play because Porzingis was hurt, and the rest is history. Obviously, you'd love to see them back together, or whatever. But it is kind of ironic, man. But I don't know. Well, that is very much a TBD, man.
Yeah. So with the Lakers, right? The Lakers set themselves up for the future. I mean, the Lakers have gone from Jerry West to Kareem to or whatever the order is, but Jerry West, Will Chamberlain, Kareem, Magic Johnson, Shaq and Kobe, LeBron, and now Luka Doncic.
Yeah, it just didn't seem
the
that
Lakers are always in the sweepstakes for a star-studded player, and now they get one in return, and it's probably gonna make LeBron sign an extension. Really, like if you really think about it, he'll probably sign another extension to stay and play.
It's kind of funny. All of a sudden, LeBron was also like, "Oh yeah, I plan on sticking around for another 2 years." Like, I wonder why you got one of the best players in the league. Like, oh man, what a surprise!
A generational talent like this, and it's like, he liked Anthony Davis, so he's mentioned that's one of his best friends and all that. But he probably knows where Anthony Davis is at when it comes to injuries and all that. And he's older. Obviously, what Luka's 26, 27.
Luka's 25. Luka's 25.
Okay. Anthony Davis is like 32, 33.
32, yeah.
So it's like the age gap there, like you're bringing in a generational talent. It's going to make LeBron want to stay. We'll see how it works out. I mean, Luka can score he could grab rebounds. LeBron can do the same thing. He just dropped last night a 42-point triple-double. I mean, or a double-double. No, a 42-point double-double with 17 rebounds. Bro, at 40 years old, man, and you're playing with a generational talent like that, and Luka gets to learn under him.
Right.
It's like it's a
LA set up. LA's so set up in this because they got Luka Doncic and didn't give up any extra draft picks. Not that they had very many to begin with, but they didn't give up. They didn't really give up.
They gave up one. They gave up one.
Right, one in 4 years. So that might work out great, but who the hell knows?
But bro, what a trade, man, dude! I was literally laying down watching TV. And I'm about to knock out, and I see this trade happen, bro. My heart starts beating fast. I'm up for the next 2 hours. I'm looking at Twitter, just reading all the tweets and looking at the trade details and all this and all that. And I'm just like, bro, man, what a insane trade, bro. Insane. And then we still have more trades to talk about, but bro, just like how you brought it up in the beginning, dude, this must have been the best NBA trade deadline in history. I tell you
why they did this, why this happened. It's just a little conspiracy here. NFL took over Christmas Day. Okay, that was NBA's day. That was NBA day, and NFL took it over. So NFL's like, you know what? Or NBA's like, you know what? I got you. Super Bowl week. Nobody was talking about the Super Bowl for 2-3 days at least, and it's coming.
It don't matter. They're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about it tomorrow. They're going to talk about it Sunday, and they're going to talk about it for the rest of the week. It don't matter. NFL is king.
Super Bowl usually get all week. It's all NFL. Yeah. That Thursday, any talking head show. There was no Super Bowl. It was all Luka and this trade and just different moves.
Trade deadline and everything coming.
So I think the NBA was like, all right, we're coming back at you.
Whatever, man. Hey, it's us. It's great for the fans, but at the end of the day, NFL is king, bro. NFL.
I'm not saying it's gonna move the needle.
NBA is the prince.
I thought that was kind of funny that all of a sudden NBA is like, okay, during your big time, we'll try and take over a little bit too. But NBA definitely won the week so far.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's do the second trade here, man. That happened that day, and that was another trade that was pretty damn good as well, bro.
Yeah, it definitely was.
The Spurs and the Kings made a great trade, while the Bulls were a third team that actually came about in this trade. So the Spurs received the Aaron Fox.
Oh, yeah,
the Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings received, I think the Kings won in this trade, but we'll talk about that right now.
Okay.
Zach LaVine, Sidney Sissoko. Hopefully I said that right.
Oh, everybody knows Sid?
Yeah, right. a 2025 first round draft pick, a 2027 first round draft pick, a 2031 first round draft pick, a 2025 second round draft pick, a 2028, and two 2028 second round picks. And then the Bulls receive Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones, and a 2025 first round pick via the Spurs. I think we both agree.
Before we talk about the thoughts on this, if I was to read that in a nutshell and not tell you names, wouldn't that make sense for like the Luka trade? Wouldn't you think, oh, you're reading off the Luka LA trade, right? No, that's for De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the Bulls gave up 2 picks, and then the Spurs, and then the other 2 remaining picks are from the Hornets and Timberwolves. So that's from either the Bulls or the Spurs, whichever it comes there. But the Bulls gave up 2 picks. The Spurs gave up 1 pick. And then either team either gave up 2 picks or 1 pick each. But I think we both agree here that the Bulls lost this trade. Let's be real. The Bulls lost this trade here, right?
Yeah.
But
yes, agreed.
How do you feel? We'll talk about the Spurs first, and then we'll jump to the Kings. How do you feel about De'Aaron Fox teaming up with Wemby, learning behind CP3, and being with that young core in San Antonio?
I'll be honest. I think the Spurs won the trade deadline. I think this is my favorite trade here of the whole day. De'Aaron Fox wanted to go there. He's been making it pretty public the last couple of weeks that he wanted to go there. Victor Wembanyama is proving to be the generational talent that they thought he was going to be, and he's only getting better. If he started to put on some weight, he's really started to catch the NBA skills. He's starting to catch the NBA body. I love that he's going to be the man for a long time to come. And like you were saying too, you still have CP3 there to keep all the young kids together, to mold the whole thing. And hopefully Greg Popovich is able to come back. But Spurs have great coaching. They've always had great coaching. And the Spurs, this reminds me of such as I was saying before we started, this reminds me of such a Spurs trade. It is the right move at the right time. They get the right guy that they want for him. And they didn't have to give up major pieces that are ready now. They gave up a lot of draft picks. That's without a doubt. But if you already have the core that you want right now, and as long as you can keep them healthy and keep them together, you're going to start winning championships. This reminds me of whenever they signed Tim Duncan, like they just know what they want. They know what they're doing. They find the right guys, and De'Aaron Fox and Wemby I think are going to fit in absolutely perfect. De'Aaron Fox is one of the fastest players in the league. He's a scorer, very underrated. And it's unfortunate. I only know one actual Kings fan, and he loved De'Aaron Fox. So I'm sorry, Kevin. Sorry to see him go out there for you, buddy. But having said that, though, a lot of people don't get a chance to really see the Kings or De'Aaron Fox play because they're on late night or they're just not a big maker market team. I think the Spurs, you'll actually see how good De'Aaron Fox is now because the Wemby is becoming one of the faces of the leagues right now, and so they're going to be on TV a lot more. And I think this chemistry is going to work out. I love Castleton on that team as well. I think the Spurs made the absolutely perfect move, and they gave up a lot, yes, in draft picks, but not draft picks don't always point out and don't always work.
Yeah, no, true. I think it's a great trade for the Spurs for sure. You're getting a point guard that is fast. He could shoot the 3 ball. He could score at will. He facilitates with the best of them, and he plays amazing defense. In his first game, he scored with the Spurs. He scored 24 points, and he had three steals with 11 assists. So you can already tell that he's hitting the ground running.
He's a willing passer. He's not a ball dominant guard. He's an actual true point guard. He can do it all.
Yeah. And then pairing him up with Wemby, who's going to be a generational talent that he's already showing it as well. First-time All-Star this year.
Both
Congrats
young.
to him. Learning under CP3 is another thing. He's going to get so many little gems from CP3 that is going to just improve his game substantially. Mm-hmm. And so I like it for the Spurs for sure. I think it's gonna be good for them. I think that they're probably 11 seed or 12 seed in the West right now. I think that with adding De'Aaron Fox, they can sneak into the play-in tournament and actually get into the playoffs and maybe as the 8th or the 7th seed. So, and then just for the years to come, is going to be good for them. I think they're going to get a lot of chemistry together and they're going to hit the ground running with this young core, bro.
Yeah, I like it too because they're young too. And that's what the good thing is that you got 2 generational. I don't want to go this far saying De'Aaron Fox is generational, but he's a damn good player. Mm-hmm. Wemby is on that level for sure. I'm not going to go that route with De'Aaron Fox, but you get the concept of what I'm saying is that De'Aaron Fox is a damn good player, and he's young, and he's only going to get better, and he's actually going to be on what I think will become winning teams. The Kings did have a nice run going for the last 2-3 years, something like that. Sabonis was great. They just could not get over that hump. I think that with San Antonio's championship pedigree, believe me, as a Mavs fan, I used to hate San Antonio. That was my most hated team in the same division. Those games were epic back in the Dirk days. Dirk and Duncan and Ginobili, all those guys. They're kind of starting to feel like they're rebuilding that again. And they just seem to always land a great foreign player. They got great scouts. San Antonio knows what they're doing. And is it possible for two teams to win in a trade? Because I think you're right as well.
Definitely.
The Kings did pretty well in the trade as well, getting all those draft picks. And if they could use them right, or you can save them and maybe next year see who's available, because you have assets to be able to trade. And that's the nice thing about picks, is that people always want picks. You can throw 2-3 first rounders together and, hey, we want to win now mode, so that's what we can do. So I think getting all those picks, ergo Oklahoma City, and look what Oklahoma City's done. You kind of fall off for a little bit, and if you make the right picks, it's good. It doesn't always pan out. Some people just aren't good GMs. Philadelphia went through that whole trust the process, and it still hasn't brought them a championship. And all those years kind of feel like for nothing, really. They made it to the second round. Pretty much that's about it, really. So I think that if they got the right GM in there, that this could work out great for the Kings as well.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that they're bringing in Zach LaVine, and he's another scoring guard just like De'Aaron Fox. Yes, he's not as fast, and he has a better three-point shot than De'Aaron Fox, and he's not as great on defense than Fox is, but he's played with DeMar DeRozan. They know how to play together. They click together, and they made a sort of a little run with the Bulls and trying to get into the playoffs and the playoff play-in and all that. They know how to play together, which is the number one big thing. It sounds like they're gonna try and put Malik Monk at the 1, have have Zach LaVine at the 2, and DeMar DeRozan at the 3. So there's 3 guards right there. Obviously, with Fox too, there were 3 guards that can score. So you're getting LaVine that can replace that a little bit and have a better 3-point shot with 6 picks for your future, which is the Kings, what they're looking for. Even though they still didn't shift their team around that much, and they have another trade that they made for Jonas Valanciunas of the Washington Wizards, that he's played with Sabonis on their international team. And you could put Sabonis at the 4, Valanciunas at the 5, right? You could have that starting lineup. You have 2 twin towers and 3 guards that can score.
Yeah,
dude, I think the Kings are looking pretty good. The only thing they got to worry about is that defense, because their defense is not up to par. Sabonis doesn't play that great of defense. Valanciunas, he's not going to be playing that great of defense. And then now you lose an all-star defensive guard in De'Aaron Fox, so now you're depleted as well. So they need to find a way to cover the 3-point shot and to cover the interior.
Yeah, the Kings kind of remind me the way they're structured a little bit, how Dallas is also structured as well, is that you're going to have good defense, you're going to have big players. Scoring is going to be where it's going to come from. I don't think Zach LaVine could be your number 1 scorer. DeMar DeRozan, he's always just a mid-range guy, so you're going to get 20, 22 points out of him, something like that, which is a good, nothing wrong with DeMar DeRozan. I like DeMar DeRozan a lot. But that's, I think, going to be the same thing is the Dallas dynamic as well, is that they're going to be so defensively set up that scoring is going to become the problem for them. They kind of remind me of the Grizzlies back in the day when they had like Zach Randolph and stuff, the grind guys, and they couldn't score very much, but you're not scoring on them either.
Yep. But I mean, defense wins championships, bro. But in today's age, obviously, you need to be try to be putting up 130 points, bro, because these teams out here are just shooting so many threes. There's like 40 to 50 threes shot a game now, and it's
easily.
Dude, man, like if you're not able to at least match the scoring and play great defense, it's going to be hard for any team to get to the NBA Finals. That's why the Boston Celtics got there, and that's why the Dallas Mavericks got there, because it wasn't because of the defense, but it was because they were putting up 150 points.
Yeah, I think Boston was averaging at least probably 53s a game or so, something along those lines.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but man, good trade for the Spurs and the Kings. Bad trade for the Bulls. The Bulls are looking on downtrend, even though they kept Vucevic, which I think is pretty good. But we'll move on, man. We'll move on. What other trade do you think that was hyped this week?
I don't know. Do you have one that you that was in particular to something to do with South Florida and a certain player that wasn't playing anything? Do you know anything about that, George? Did the Miami Heat do something today? This trade deadline?
Yeah, man. So we're both sad this trade deadline, man. We're
All
both
right.
sad. But the Miami Heat have traded Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors, and this is the whole full details of the trade.
There's a lot.
Warriors will receive, it's a 5-team trade, by the way. Warriors will receive Jimmy Butler, 2 second-round picks, and cash from the Miami Heat. The Heat will receive Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Davon Mitchell from the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors, a 2025 protected first-round pick. Jazz will receive Josh Richardson, KJ Martin, a 2028 second-round pick, a 2031 second-round pick, and cash. The Pistons will receive Lindy Waters III, Dennis Schroeder, a 2031 second-round pick, and the Raptors finally will receive PJ Tucker, 2026 second-round pick, and cash from the Heat. Wow, what a mouthful right there. But the overall main course of this trade is Jimmy Butler going to the Heat and the Heat receiving Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Davon Mitchell in return. And honestly, I'm not going to let you go first. I'm going to go first.
Oh, I hope you do. I hope you do.
Dude, it sucks to see Jimmy go,
You can bring
man.
the heat.
Yeah, it sucks to see Jimmy. It sucks to see Jimmy go, man. He's giving us a lot these last 6 years. 2 NBA Finals, 4 Eastern Conference appearances. He won Eastern Conference Finals MVP in 2023. He was a 2-time All-Star with us, a 3-time All-NBA, a first All-Defense NBA. He scored most playoff points in history with us, with 56 points against the Milwaukee Bucks in that first round, where everyone thought that we were going to get ran through, like Diddy, but ran through. And he just put on a great performance. He had that awesome performance against the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020 in the NBA bubble in the NBA Finals with a 45 triple-point triple-double. He did a lot for us, man. Heat fans, the organization, the front office. And it sucks to see him go, man, but he was not happy with us anymore. So, you got to ship him off. So where you got to ship him off to. And what we get in return, it's Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Davon Mitchell, right? I like Andrew Wiggins. He's definitely a top-tier defender, which obviously fits the Heat culture. He's a player that drops 17 points per game right now, so it could be definitely a good matchup with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, where Tyler Hero is scoring 22 or 23 points per game, and Bam Adebayo is scoring 19 points per game. So that's another 17 points that can help out our offensive arsenal, which is great, and especially in the starting lineup. I like Kyle Anderson because he's a facilitating forward. He doesn't play awesome defense, but what he brings to the table is energy. If you've watched Kyle Anderson and how he's played with the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, and the other teams that he's played for, he brings the energy out there, and you could tell that he's giving 110% whenever he's on the court. Davon Mitchell is one of the guys that I like the most because he's another top-tier defender when it comes to the guard position, and this guy covers people, bro, like white on rice. This guy will not get away from people, and especially guarding the guard position when you're playing against top guards in the East like Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, and the list goes on and on. We need someone like that. And then we get a 2025 protected first-round pick, which it's this summer coming up, wherever the Warriors land. So hopefully the Warriors play like crap so we can get like a top 20 pick.
I don't want to see anything negative happen to anybody, but I hope they don't do good.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for the Heat, it was a good players that we got in return for Jimmy. Again, it sucks to see Jimmy go. Top 25 player in the NBA, in my opinion. When you lose a player like that, it does affect the team, but he didn't want to be there. So the pieces that we got in return, bro, I like them a lot, and I think it's going to help us to try to maintain this 4th to 5th to 6th seed in the playoffs. And, hopefully we do work in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's that whole saga, man. I'm glad to see it done with. I'm sure everybody else is as well. You brought it up before. You don't think Pat Riley's going to be around to be the president of the Heat for very much longer. Do you think this changes your mind on anything? What's your stance on this? Did he do the right thing? What's your thoughts on this as a Miami Heat fan? Did it work out in your guys' favor or what?
I think he did a good job at the trade deadline. I think we haven't had years like this at the trade deadline, but I still think that he is a little washed. And right now, when we started the show, I saw a news pop up on my phone from the Bleacher Report that Kevin Durant was open to a Miami Heat trade. So if he was open to a Miami Heat trade and the Phoenix Suns wanted Jimmy, what is the whole commotion on why we couldn't get Kevin Durant? I want to know the full details on why we couldn't get Kevin Durant. Because if it just comes down to the Phoenix Suns didn't want to trade Kevin Durant for Jimmy because they wanted to pair him up with Jimmy, all right, cool. But do we really know that? Do we know what happened with everything that has been going on with Pat Riley, that he couldn't bring in pieces for Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat to help us win? Like, I really want to know what really happened because, dude, hearing that Kevin Durant was open to a Miami Heat trade, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think everybody was kind of trying to flirt with the Kevin Durant thing because there was a report that the Mavs were hoping that they could get Kevin Durant to match up with Kyrie and AD, which there was no tangible piece after he already got rid of Luka. So, yeah, that's interesting though. I feel like with the Heat with Jimmy, I think they should have done this a little bit earlier. I think that once he started, I feel like the price went down because it was a little bit of both. I think Pat Riley came off as a little bit of smug, old man kind of ish, that you're not going to tell me what to do. And Jimmy handled it the wrong way by acting super immature. But this is Jimmy's MO. This is what he's done almost every single team, pretty much, that he's never left on good terms with almost any team that he's done this with. So that I think they both were a little bit wrong in the situation. I think they both could have got what they wanted if Jimmy, I think, would have probably been a little bit more adult about it, and if Pat Riley would have stopped being so get off my lawn, if you will. But I think that Pat Riley was right in the long run because you can't just start doing what Jimmy did and just being so obnoxious about his stuff. Now, having said that as well, I don't also get that. I hate you'll hear the player empowerment thing, but I think it's also one of those things that if the player is telling you, you're not going to resign me, so get me out of here. I want to move on. This is I'm letting you know so that you guys can get the best for me and it works out for everybody. I think that if they're already telling you that, then why not make the move? Now, I know that you can't start doing that. It's going to open the floodgates. But on the other hand, too, if the players aren't going to play for you, you're not going to win anyway. So what's the difference? Trade for people that want to play for you. There's definitely guys on you could give an overhaul, get more picks, something. But I think that they should have done this trade a little bit earlier to get him out of there because it was just suspending him did nothing. You guys were losing games, and it put you deeper in a hole that you guys could have maybe got a player that would have actually played for you and maybe put you in a better playoff spot.
100%. But what do you think about the trade for the Heat, and what do you think about the trade for the first? Talk about the Heat, then jump into the Warriors, so I could go after you.
I think the Heat, because the Heat are so well ran as far as coaching and that Heat culture thing seems to be a real deal thing. I think the Heat can make a decent run. I don't think that they're a deep playoff team if they can make the playoffs this year, but it might be for the better. Sometimes restarting and then maybe using some of the pick they got. The lower you go, obviously, the better player you get. So you might be able to find a little diamond in the rough, maybe, or something. They already maybe have the rookie of the year. Forgive me, was it Kel Ware, your boy? So they know what they're doing as far as scouting wise. Spoelstra, that was kind of where his stomping grounds was. He started out low and worked his way up. So I think the Heat will make the best out of the trade. As far as the Warriors go, I'm interested to see how this is going to work out. I don't really like it for the Warriors. I don't think it really fits them well. You already had a Jimmy Butler in the Warriors and Draymond, if you will. How is their personalities going to work out? And that's what I want to see, how that's going to the dynamic's going to go, because they're both alpha males in the room. Jimmy can be a little bit more lighthearted, and Draymond, if he's in a great mood, can be. But Draymond is the dog of that team, and that's always been Jimmy pretty much everywhere he's gone. He's at least tried to be that guy. I don't know if his style is going to match with what Steph does as far as the shooting style and all that. That's TBD. I don't know if I like it for the Warriors as much. And then they already re-signed him to a 2-year deal. So they're banking that this is going to work. And the Warriors have another great scouting staff as well. So they know what they're doing as well. I don't know if I like the fit for the Warriors. I think the Heat made out a little bit better in this one. They did lose the name and got in some other players, but I think the players they got in, Wiggins and these other guys, are going to make them a better team in the long run.
I do like the trade for the Warriors. I do think that it kind of is going to be questionable what we're going to see from Jimmy and Draymond and how they're going to be out.
That's the only thing I didn't like about it. So those two guys. If Draymond wasn't there, I would love it. I think this would work out really well. I just don't know how that's going to work as far as personality wise.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how it's gonna work out, but I think it'll work out. I think Jimmy's gonna be a team player at this point. He knows, I'm coming in here and I have to prove myself to these guys, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go out there, do whatever they need me to do. If you need me to facilitate and get Steph Curry open and Steph play the 2 guard, I'll do it. If you need me to be the 3 guard that's gonna come in and do some post moves, some layups, some dunks, maybe shoot a 3-point here and there and score and just play amazing defense, I'll come and do that as well. I think he's going to go in there and he's going to be a team player. He's going to do what they need him to do. And when it comes to them for the playoffs and all, I think it will help their chances, man. I think maybe they won't be a contender because, the West is deep. But maybe they could. I think they make playoffs for sure. Maybe they could make the second round, and I think that's where their season will end.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of fun to watch. It's interesting because you have Jimmy and Luka. They're going to be motivated for different reasons. Luka's going to be like, you thought I was fat and out of shape and can't be an adult in the room or anything like that. Now go look at me now kind of thing. So Luka could be completely motivated, which could be scary if that guy is extra motivated now with LeBron on the team. And then you also got Jimmy, who was like, he'll probably play that they didn't want me card. They didn't want to pay me. And so he's going to be motivated to prove, hey, I was worth the money. I was doing all this for a certain reason. So it's going to be interesting to watch as the season progresses. We get the All-Star break next week. And that's where, honestly, NBA really gets exciting is after that. But that's going to be very interesting to see how both these guys play it out because both are motivated for different reasons. One, you moved on from me after I was supposed to be your generational piece. And then number two, you were benching me for not playing hard, not wanting to play. I'm going to show you how hard I can play. So it's gonna be kind of cool for both of them. I think that kind of, in my thoughts, it kind of wraps up the trade deadline. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the trade deadline?
No, man, just quick mention. Kyle Kuzma was traded for Chris Middleton. I think the Bucks sent Chris Middleton to die over there, figuratively, not literally, over there in the NBA court. And then Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans got traded to the Toronto Raptors, which it could be a good duo with Scotty Barnes there. So those are the two other major trades. And there was other trades that have been going on, but we only wanted to focus on the top players because, again, the trade deadline was crazy, man.
Yeah, and feel free if you have some other trades that you thought was better or worse or whatever, either leave it in the comments here or leave it on the YouTube channel and we can discuss it as well. We just went over the ones I thought that were the major ones. One of the ones that I was really interested in that I thought I was kind of surprised that didn't happen was Orlando. I thought Orlando should have made some sort of move getting a Dalton Connect. And I keep on bringing him up just because I like his style in the shooting, and that's something Orlando could have used. We wish BC was here for that one. That's how lower Orlando that one. But having said, Orlando has just been in a slump. They've been shooting really bad. They're one of the worst shooting teams in the league. And I think for them not making a move was the wrong move for them. They should have tried to move some sort of piece, Jonathan Isaac, something, and got some scoring in there because KCP hasn't been the answer. They thought he was going to be the 3-point threat, and he hasn't really panned out for much.
Yep. So, I mean, things could be different when it comes playoff time. So
yeah. I mean, but they're fighting in that spot now. Orlando's dropping a lot. That they're going to be fighting for that play-in spot where they were solidly number 4 or 5 in the East. Now I think they've dropped down to maybe 8 or 9 or so, somewhere in there. But there's plenty of time to improve. Orlando was one of the hottest teams going beginning of the year, and they got kind of hurt. So they got plenty of time to improve. All right, well, Mr. G, Mike, we're going to go ahead and leave the hardwood and go to the gridiron, man. So last night we had the 2024 NFL awards winners, and Josh Allen takes home the MVP. Saquon Barkley takes home the Offensive Player of the Year. Patrick Surtain, which I like the nickname that I don't know who came up with it, but I loved it whenever BC used it, the PC2 or PS2. I love that one. I thought that was a great nickname right there.
I used it. I
thought that was pretty cool. And then Offensive Rookie of the Year, it goes to Jaden Daniels. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jared Verse. Comeback Player of the Year, Joe Burrow. Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell. And Assistant Coach of the Year goes to Ben Johnson. All right, man. So the big one, of course, is always going to be the MVP. I did pick Josh Allen as my MVP going into the beginning of the season. I will admit it. I trailed off at the end, and I went with Saquon just because I thought what Saquon was doing was absolutely amazing. But I knew this Josh Allen had this one in him to be able to pull this off. And man, he did. He had one hell of a year. What's your thoughts on this? Do you like the MVP?
I do like the MVP. I think he was well deserved of it. I think the other finalists were well deserved it as well. I chose Saquon Barkley because he literally transformed himself from the New York Giants that people thought that he was falling off and washed off and all of this, goes to a team with a way better offensive line, and you see what he can do with them. Takes them to the Super Bowl, not single-handedly, but he was a big reason why they are now about to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So I had Saquon Barkley, but yeah, man, hey, Josh Allen was well deserving. I mean, a lot of people wrote the Bills off because they had no wide receiver core at the beginning of the season. And next thing you know, they're 8-1.
Which is precisely why I actually chose him to be MVP this year because of that reason. But the motivation and the fact of I thought he had this in him with the players that they actually had with losing all those players. So I thought that's why that was going to be that one. If I had to pick a gripe for a winner in this one, comeback player of the year going to Joe Burrow. I don't like that one. I think they were just trying to find a reason to give Joe Burrow something because he had such a fantastic year. They couldn't give him the MVP because of the team, where they finished. They couldn't give it to him there. I thought he could have been a legitimately perfectly fine candidate with the way he played. Hey, what's up, Scott? Checking in here. Parker wishes the Bills were still in the Super Bowl. He said, "Buddy, I know. I thought you'd be more upset about the Luka trade. I thought you'd be a little. I didn't want to tell you over here. I was going to tell you I saw you in person, man. But anyways, man, I know we were hoping all the Bills win. I think America was too. So we're with you on that one, Parker. And that's you. Thanks for checking in, Scott. But I thought Joe Burrow should have been I don't like the comeback player of the year. I thought that should have hands down been Sam Darnold. Anybody that had Sam Darnold having the year that he had is lying. I don't care what anybody says. Once you see Sam Darnold taking over for the Vikings, nobody thought they were going to go at 14-3, and he's going to have a career year. So Joe, I think they just had to find something for Burrow because he had such a good year. What's your thoughts on that one?
No, I agree. I think, I forgot who my pick was. I'm trying to remember right now.
Brock Bowers.
No, not comeback.
Oh, comeback player. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins.
I thought J.K. Dobbins was going to win it because of the whole knee injury, and then he hadn't played in 2 years, and then he went off this year with the Chargers. They thought the Chargers was also not going to be a team that were going to do anything, and then they end up getting into the playoffs. I thought he was going to win it, but I do agree with you. I think that they had to give Joe Burrow something because of the last 8 to 10 weeks of the season that he just started going ballistic.
Oh man, he was lights out.
And it is what it is, man. Congrats to everybody, man. Honestly, I feel like everybody is well deserving. Even though Joe Burrow, I think that he should have been second place for this, but it is what it is. And dude, honestly, again, everybody was well deserved of these awards.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. That was the only one. And it's not even like it's a bad thing. It's not like Joe Burrow didn't deserve to get something. But I just thought that they kind of we have to do something, like a consolation prize. This guy was so damn good. We got to give you something, Offensive player of the year, I kind of thought that was going to go for Lamar Jackson possibly. I think he was more of that fatigue why Jokic didn't get it 3 years in a row either in the NBA. Once after 2 in a row, people get really kind of over you. Even though Lamar had his best year, and I'm not the biggest Lamar guy, we all know that, but Lamar definitely could have probably been MVP as well in there. So, but overall, I think it was a great year for all those candidates and all those guys. Patrick Surtain had a hell of a year, man. You just didn't throw the ball his way. Second coming of Revis. Yeah. So that was the awards, man. We're going to go ahead and move on to the big game itself, man. And it's coming up here on Sunday, and we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't want to necessarily call it a three-peat because Pat Riley might sue me. Did you know about that?
Yeah. No, I didn't know about it until I read it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until I read it either. So if you don't know out there, here's a little bit of knowledge for you. And people say it all the time, so I'm surprised this hasn't come up before. But Pat Riley actually trademarked the term three-peat back in the 80s. So now to use the term three-peat on any kind of clothing, any kind of thing, you have to pay Pat Riley or get his permission to use the trademark. I just thought that was mind-blowing that, hey, smart, man. We got to coin something now, and that's the wave of the future.
Yeah, I got to trademark cocky.
Cocky, there you go, man. Right there, man. Put a little register mark at the top, a little TM right there. All right, man. Well, it's finally here. The Super Bowl is here, man, and it feels like this is two of the best teams in the league. Say what you want about Kansas City's offense, they've won games, 17 games in a row with one possession games. But that Philly defense is something else, man. That's something fierce, man. Vic Fangio came over, took over, and took all those that young talent too. They had a lot of young players out there, man. Two defensive rookie of the year candidates. You got Jalen Carter coming to his own. Looks like a wrecking machine out there, man. What's your thoughts, man? I think that the Eagles have the better on paper team as far as the roster goes, but you can't count the Chiefs in this, man. How are you looking towards this, and what's your thoughts on the game, man?
No, you definitely can't count the Chiefs out. You can never count the Chiefs out. When they have a Hall of Fame coach like that, and a Hall of Fame quarterback like that, and a Hall of Fame tight end like that, and they have some great running backs, two pair of great running backs. They got three receivers that are pretty damn good, and an amazing defense. But I do believe that the Eagles have a better team on paper, 100%. Their defense is better, in my opinion, and especially the rush defense is better. The rush offense is way better, for sure. I just think that, I still think that Jalen Hurts is the greatest game managing quarterback there is, even though he be putting up numbers, man. I can't be lying. He be putting up numbers. And he knows how to win, too. He knows how to win. And that's what you want. You want a winning quarterback. You don't want a quarterback that's going to do too much. You don't want a quarterback that's going to go out there and cause so many turnovers. And Jalen Hurts doesn't really do that. But yeah, man, if we're going to be talking about who we're going to be picking, man, I'm going to go the Chiefs. I'm never going to count on Mahomes and Andy Reid and that top-level defense right now that is better than last year's defense, and their defense last year was amazing. And I just think that, dude, man, when it comes to how do you win a football game, Mahomes and Andy Reid just know how to do that, and the Eagles know how to do that as well, but they're just not at that level. So I feel like the Chiefs are going to take it home. And then just a little conspiracy-type stuff. I think the NFL wants the Chiefs to three-peat. You got Taylor Swift that's going to be up there on the big screen again, and she's a top artist, the top artist in America right now. So
I thought it was Parkway Drive. It's not Parkway Drive. No?
I don't know who it is, honestly.
Just kidding, man. That's like my favorite. It's my favorite metal band. They're definitely not.
Yeah, so she's gonna be all up in the big screen. People are gonna be watching just for that. There's literally going to be people that just watch when Taylor Swift is gonna come on the big screen. There's never been a three-peat in the NFL.
No.
All history. So I feel like the conspiracy is going to be played a little bit here, and the referees are going to give one or two calls to the Chiefs, even though
you also forgot. If you look at the outline, it's already red, but just for the Chiefs. So I mean, let's get conspiracy on them, man.
Right. Let's just go full throttle here.
Let's go.
Even though Roger Goodell, Travis Kelce, and a bunch of other people have been asked about the referees and all this, and they all think it's crazy. They all think it's delusional thinking and all that, but we fans know what's going on, man. The analysts know what's going on, man. We see that some of these referees be giving these ticky-tack calls for the Chiefs. And yeah, it doesn't make a big difference at that moment in the game, but the overall outcome of the game can change just because of one of these calls. So, again, I think that the Chiefs just are going to find a way to win. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be back and forth. At the end of it, the Chiefs are going to find a way to either get a field goal for the win, get a touchdown for the win, and they're going to make history and be the first team to get three-peat.
So I'm going to go with actually Philadelphia in this one. This time, this is the second time they've played in 3 years, I believe it is, maybe 4 or 3 or 4 years. Anyways, the teams are a little bit different now, and I think that Philadelphia is going to bring the defense there. They're only allowing 18.3 points per game, and while they're also scoring 35. So that's a hell of a margin to be able to have, keeping your defense, keeping your opponent from scoring a lot of points. So I think that's going to be the biggest determining factor in this one. Mahomes, as great as he is, you saw it in the Tampa Bay one. Now, granted, the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, they pressured the hell out of him, and he made some mental mistakes in there. And he couldn't make that magic that he normally does. And the Eagles have the power to be able to do that as well. Now, granted, in that Super Bowl, the offensive line for the Chiefs was a little bit banged up. But I think this defense is better than that Tampa Bay defense was, and I think they're going to pressure the hell out of him and make him make some mistakes. And he doesn't have as well as a wide receiver core as he had at that point. So I think finally This is one of the time that they actually go down. I'm going for the Eagles in this one. I think I hate it because America's on there, and it sucks too because everybody loves to see the Giants fall down. Kansas City, for all intents and purposes, they found ways to win. Granted, you can go to the referees, whatever you want, but most of those plays still are with time left on the clock. So there's been very few plays where it's very last play of the game, and that's the determining factor. Most of the plays that people are talking about, there was still 8 to 10 minutes left on the clock. Kansas City just finds ways to win. So you can't always just go back to the refs in the situation on this one. Yes, they do seem to get a lot of calls. Same thing happened with the Brady era with getting calls. But most of the time, there's still plenty of time left on there. So you can't always just go back to that. Mahomes and Andy Reid are just great players, or a head coach and player that understand how to win. Patrick Mahomes does whatever it takes to win. Like him, love him or hate him, he hasn't really been that. He's been perfectly fine off the field. There's not very many issues with anything else, but he's starting to also go from the guy everybody loved down to now you want to see him fall. I am on the same boat. I'm ready for the Chiefs to be dethroned, but I'm also not as mad as everybody else is going to be if they win again. It is kind of neat to see. It's never happened before, so at least you can say, hey, yeah, whenever in 2025 I got to watch the game that the actual three-peat happened. The 72 Dolphins are still living in. We're the only undefeated team, and that's cool. This would be the only three-peat. 20 years from now, you can still say that you were there alive and watched it whenever it happened. There's a three-peat, and Travis Kelce said he's coming back. Andy Reid has already said he's coming back. They could go for a fourth-peat. Who the hell knows? Whatever the hell that number is, maybe we should trademark that now so we can make money like Riley. But speaking of the Super Bowl, one more thing I wanted to ask you about, and we did have the slight conversation about this one. The Super Bowl has the commercials. The Super Bowl has the halftime show as well. If you don't know, Kendrick Lamar is going to be the halftime show. What's your thoughts on this one? Are you in or against? What's your thoughts on Kendrick Lamar being for the halftime Super Bowl show?
I'm not against Kendrick Lamar being the halftime Super Bowl show. He's a great artist, and he's been having a great past, year and a half now, with this whole Drake beef and all this stuff. He's been dropping good songs, and then the last album that he dropped was phenomenal. I thought it was pretty great. I just think that we're in New Orleans. We have one of literally what people have called him the best rapper alive in Lil Wayne, that he's giving us so many hits, radio hits, on the ground hits, mixtapes, albums, singles, you name it. He's giving us a lot of stuff, but I feel like the reason they didn't go, two reasons they didn't go the Lil Wayne route for New Orleans. One is because he has beef with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z has he's basically an employee for the NFL
he's in charge of the entertainment.
Exactly. He's in charge of the entertainment. So he's an employee for the NFL, and he does that. The second thing is that Lil Wayne is not that good of a performer. I've seen him twice. I've heard other people tell me the same thing. He's a great rapper, makes amazing music, but his performance skills are not up to par. I won't say that they're better than Kendrick, because I've only seen Kendrick once when he came on the Super Bowl when it was the Rams against the Bengals, and then a few other times on clips on Twitter where he comes up on his concerts and stuff like that. I've never seen him in person, so I can't say if he's a good performer or not. But those are two reasons I think that Lil Wayne wasn't it. Again, I'm not against Kendrick Lamar, but in my opinion, I think we should have gone with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying. I personally don't like Kendrick Lamar as the halftime show. I think that was the wrong decision. The NFL has been trying to do the thing where they represent the city of the town that they're in. It's, and New Orleans has so much rich music history. You could go from the jazz aspect and do some cool jazz thing with their playing hits. You could do Lil Wayne. There's hundreds of artists that you easily could have chosen over Kendrick Lamar to represent New Orleans in the Super Bowl. I think they should have went that route. I thought that would have been a better idea. Having said that as well, I think when we were talking about it before the show started, before the cameras went on and everything, I think a lot of people are going to walk away saying, what the hell did I just watch when it comes to Kendrick Lamar? Because Kendrick Lamar, talented as all hell. You can put him on a top 10 list, arguably somewhere in there. But I don't feel like enough people are going to get what's going on there, because his songs are popular if you listen to hip hop. If you don't, you're not going to go, what the hell's going on? He does the whole voice dialect thing where he changes his voice, and it's him talking to himself sometimes. And if you don't know any of the stuff going on, you're going to be like, what the hell is this? Hip hop party, either you love it or you hate it. I don't think that this was the right guy for it. Now, granted, Lil Wayne would have been the obvious choice. You could have done it. You could have even done a Cash Money Records, Master P, No Limit thing, bring it back to like the 90s for New Orleans hip hop that put it on the map. You could have done that if you wanted to. But I think with Lil Wayne, the other issue would be lyrical content is so dirty that it would be censored as hell. You know what I mean? Especially at the Super Bowl. Ever since the Judith Jackson thing, they try to censor so much of it out because it's millions and millions of people watching around the world. So I don't know if he would obviously talented enough to be able to rewrite the rhyme. It's just, I don't know if that would work out very well. I would have went a different route, and it's not because what everybody thinks, because I'm dying for Metallica or a rock and roll band to get back up there. It's not that. I just don't think that Kendrick Lamar has the cachet and the hits enough that's going to resonate with everybody in the audience. I think a lot of people are going to walk away going, I don't even know what I just saw here. It's either going to be great or just go down as one of the worst ones, I think, because of Kendrick Lamar is such a unique artist. So I think that's where that's going to be a little bit different in there. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and move from there. So I'm taking the Eagles. G-Mike, you're taking the Chiefs, and we cannot wait for the Super Bowl. We're going to go ahead and move on, man, because tomorrow night we have a banger of a fight, man. We have the rematch of Duplessis and Strickland. And if you didn't get a chance to watch the first one, man, download ESPN Plus and where you watch the fight or whatever you got to do, bootleg it, whatever you got to do to watch this last one. And it was a split decision. And, man, these guys fought to the death of this one, man. It was ridiculous.
The boy
Mr. Poole. My man is turning off the TV when Kendrick Lamar comes on, and that's probably because my man is one of the bigger Drake fans I've ever met here. So I think that's part of what it is there too. But I agree. I don't think this is going to resonate very well, and I don't think it's going to land for a lot of people in the audience. I just don't think it's going to work. I thought they could have chose a way better artist and a way more. Hell, I would have rather seen Drake up there, even though his songs, he has so many more hits. Like Drake would have been made better sense, even though Kendrick Lamar arguably had the bigger year with the bigger hit. But I totally agree with you, Mr. Poole. But Strickland Duplessis, man, Mr. Poole, you're my go-to UFC guy here, man. What's your thoughts on this one, brother? I know you're watching it, and you're going to be watching this one tomorrow night. I think the belt stays with Duplessis in this one. I think that kickboxers are dominating. It's either wrestling or kickboxers that are dominating the UFC right now. G-Mike, I know you're excited, man. What's your thoughts on this one?
No, I'm with you. I think he's the up and coming right now. I think that his fight style is more elusive than Strickland, which I like a lot. I think he's gonna be able to outfight him. He's be quicker than him, be a little more elusive. And I think Strickland's time is already done. He had a good stand for the last few years now, but I don't think he's gonna continue as well. And in my opinion, I don't really think that this rematch should have happened, but they're giving Strickland the opportunity here to try to regain the belt back after his last few years. But yeah, I got Duplessis on this one for sure.
Yeah, just a little fun-filled fact here, man. 41% of Duplessis' wins come by KO, 38% for Strickland, 50% of submission for Duplessis, and 14% for Strickland. 9% by decision, 48% for Strickland, which is kind of interesting. And so you got the best of both worlds in here. One's definitely my man go DDP by submission, man. No, I totally agree too. I think Duplessis is going to win this one. I don't think it's going to go the distance like it did the last time.
Put a bet on that.
I think it's going to be over. Probably I'm going to go call maybe third round. Strickland's still got a little bit of left in him, but I'm going to go third round for Duplessis.
Yep. It's going to be a good fight though. I think it's going to be a good fight. What round would you say ends?
I'm saying third round. I'm going to go third round. I think Strickland's still a tough guy. It's not like he's washed up or a chump or anything like that at all. I think he's going to be able to put up a fight, and I think it's going to be just like the first one, very very close, a lot of fighting. But I agree. I think it's going to go down by submission in this one.
Yeah, I would say the fourth round too. I would say just because of exactly what you said, that I don't think Strickland's going to go down so easy. So I got to end the fourth.
Yeah, I agree. And there's also another banger of a fight as well, man. At the co-main event, we got Wei Ling versus Suarez in here, man. And let me tell you, man, Wei Ling's a bad chick, dude. She is the real deal. I think that the young chick, she's 11-0 right now, so she's up and coming. But Wei Ling's been dominant for quite a while, and I think she's going to end up winning this fight and retaining that belt. G-Mike, you got any thoughts on this one?
No, same, bro. She's super fierce.
The
up and comer, she's pretty good as well. But I got to stick with the roots. I got to stick with the champ. I got to see what she can prove against a top fighter like this in her weight class.
No, I agree. I agree as well. So I think the belts are staying on with the champs that they are already with right now. All right, well, we got one more thing I wanted to go over with you real quick before we get off real quick, and this will take a couple seconds here. But we also wanted to give a quick shout out to the 2024. We got one more. James is checking in one more time on that one. We got Swell It by KO. All right, I like it, my man. Well, you got to come on the show and talk some UFC with us, James.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the 2025 Hall of Fame class was just announced. You got Eric Allen, you got Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Shepard. So all guys played hell of a career. They all deserve to get in this spot. There was two people that I wanted to talk about real quick that I thought was interesting. And number one being this was Eli Manning's first year. And apparently behind the scenes that this was a big deal. They were trying to figure out, is Eli Manning going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, or is he actually just going to take some time to get in? I would have put him in just because of the rings as a first rounder, but I understand why not. He also had some really lousy up and down years, but I think overall the streak of playing starting games, the two rings, clutch situations, Super Bowl or not? We'll play great in the Super Bowl, but playoff time, Eli Manning when the game mattered actually played really well. G-Mike, what's your thoughts on that one, man? Eli Manning was the talk afterwards that he did not make it. Do you think that's the right decision?
I wouldn't say it's the right decision. I just think that Eli Manning shouldn't let that bother him, bro. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you want to be the first ballot Hall of Famer. Obviously, you want to get in there right when your name is called and you want to get inside. But, dude, it doesn't matter, man. As long as you get in, and he's going to get in, bro. He showed he could be a top quarterback in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. In the regular season, yeah, his stats weren't up to par. He didn't get so many wins, but he got enough to get into the playoffs, to do his job, and bring championships to his organization. So, again, I don't think Eli should be worrying about this because he's going to get in eventually.
Yeah, and then the other one that I'm not going to say I had an issue with by any stretch of them getting in, but it was who they got in over, and that's what kind of bothered me was wide receiver over here, Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp definitely deserved to get in, but my guy Reggie Wayne, he's been on the ballot for 6 straight years and has not made it in. And if you compare the stats, Reggie Wayne has better stats. And I'm not sure why Reggie Wayne still hasn't been able to get in if you're going to let Sterling Sharp in here. And Reggie Wayne has a ring. He has more Pro Bowls. He has a championship. He has same amount of all pros. He has longer career, more games played, longer average, and more touchdowns, and well as receiving yards. So I don't understand picking him over Reggie Wayne. That one kind of bothered me in there, but definitely deserving, and Reggie Wayne will get in there. So just hold tight on that one. But I thought that was kind of I don't understand how he was getting it. Hey, he was Colts guy too. So yeah, I didn't understand that one. So I kind of want to, if I can, any kind of say so in any kind of little media thing, get Reggie Wayne to the damn Hall of Fame, man. Stop playing around. This guy's been on it for 6 years.
He deserves it, 100%.
100% he deserves it. All right, my man. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for Views from the Stands on a Friday night. We thoroughly enjoy everybody checking in, everybody having a good time on a Friday and watching the show with us. We're going to be back next week. We're going to obviously have Super Bowl reactions. We got NBA All-Star Game. We'll try to figure out what the hell is actually happening with the All-Star Game, if anybody actually understands it. All the snubs and what they can do to improve it, probably more than anything. But Mr. G-Mike, I am CDB. We're Views from the Stands. G-Mike, got anything else for the people?
Yes, sir. Guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave some comments. Help us out, support. Give us a little subscribe. Just leave it there. Put it in the YouTube channel. Boom. Whatever. Have it there on the side. You know, if you want to come on the show as well, you know, we got James over here talking about UFC. Maybe we'll bring him on to talk about more UFC. But if not, if you guys just want to write in the comments, come and make fun of us. Come and talk to us. Tell us that we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Come and show some love and support, man. We would really appreciate it.
100%. Last I checked, we're at 96 subscribers, man. We're trying to get to that magical 100. Be really nice to be able to get there. We've been working on it for a little while here. So we really appreciate everything you guys are out there. Check out the YouTube page, Varsity Sports Nation. Everybody out there, we love you. Be safe. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.